flying over a rugged landscape. This wilderness surrounds a remote outpost in Tasmania's southwest. It's a perfect summer's day, and for those who've made the trip to Melaleuca, each has their own reasons.
The peace, the quiet, the serenity.
I'm in mining, so the history of it, you know, how it got opened up with an airstrip.
Some people love the Indigenous history and that past. Some love the terrain, the weather. Each person has their own special connection to this part of Tasmania when they come down here.
There's one thing they all agree on.
The wow factor.
The waters of Port Davey and Bathurst Harbour carve out a large section of the wilderness. This marine reserve is huge, 3 times the size of Sydney Harbour. A tour group is spending the day cruising through the area, stopping at remote beaches.
The fact that it's so hard to get to makes it so spectacular as well.
Greg Hurd spent more than 30 years working on fishing boats nearby. He's returning with his wife to show her the places he fell in love with.
It's pristine. Like, I know there's more people getting around now than what there was, you know, years ago, of course. More yachties are making their way around, that kind of thing, but they do respect the area, so, well, from what I've seen anyway.
Back in Hobart, Peter Marmion is preparing for his next trip to the area.
And, of course, the trusty camera, because there's so much to see, so many beautiful things to see and photograph down there.
He's been visiting regularly for the past 50 years. Since retiring from his job as a school principal, he's become an almost full-time guide.
There's a little bit of religious zeal about it too, because I want to convert people to understand how precious this country is and how unique, and therefore they might also have that same interest and that same desire to protect it that I do.
But amid the bushwalkers, day trippers and boaties, concern is brewing. There are plans for development in this remote corner of Tasmania, an area so precious it's been deemed a World Heritage Area by UNESCO.
Like, it looks really tough, wild country, but it's actually very fragile.
A 7-day guided walk has been proposed for the South Coast Track, with 6 huts to be built along the 85 kilometres from Melaleuca to Cockle Creek.
The South Coast Track could be one of the most iconic tourism experiences internationally, but we also recognise that this is an incredibly environmentally sensitive and Indigenous sensitive area.
The Southwest is a spiritual and sacred place for Aboriginal people. They want to be involved in the management of the land.
The South Coast is so significant and important to our people. We should be the ones that are consulted at the very start, but unfortunately we have been completely left out of this process so far.
And I think it's inappropriate and ill-conceived. I think that what we've got to do with World Heritage areas is shift the infrastructure outside the World Heritage area.
Further north, a proposal to build a camp with helicopter access on Halls Island has been dropped for now. Another 9 projects within the 1.5 million hectares are still being considered.
If it's well maintained and people do the right thing when they use it, why not? Yeah, let more people come and see.
For people to appreciate and to experience it, you've got to do that. However, you don't want it to be a full-on tourism venture too, I suppose.
Tasmania is trying to position itself as an ecotourism destination.
The views aren't half bad.
That involves luring more people to the wild landscapes. To help with that goal, the Tasmanian government has been encouraging proposals for development in national parks and reserves. It says its plan for the Wilderness World Heritage Area strikes the right balance between conservation and tourism.
You can see the wilderness value ebbing away, being eroded because of human impacts.
The Wilderness Society says good nature tourism respects and protects wild areas.
The more you develop wilderness, the more it declines. It's like a mirage. You can't experience wilderness from a luxury lodge. You can't experience wilderness from a helicopter.
For today's walkers, the South Coast Track's rugged nature is part of the appeal.
Good souls need sorely binding.
A place so timeless with change on the horizon. Loretta, Lohberger, ABC News.